Yeah, it started recording. Now let's go into the discussion now. I hope, friends, simple thing is you are good with yesterday's discussion and all that, right? So you are comfortable. Only thing is understand the flow, understand the approach. You don't need to be expert on Python or anything else. But that scenarios, whatever we discuss, that's going to help you. It's not about the technology behind that. Of course, if you are having experience in that, or if you are expert in those areas, it's always added advantage. Okay. Now after that, so once we done with this AWS S3 versioning, custom versioning, and dynamic versioning, all different things. So another scenario is connecting to the EC2 instances. I think I already brought this, okay, code base. Only thing, I'll just show you how to run this. To run this, first you have to ensure that EC2 instances are running. Unfortunately, I killed most of my this thing actually. Let me just let's close all this. Where is that? We have to go to the this one. Okay, and then today we'll talk about CloudFront. That's a simple topic. We'll finish all that, and and then just type here EC2. Let's see if we have any EC2 instances available for us for testing this automation. Okay, so you click on instances. Am I sharing my
Sorry to
screen?
interrupt. Yeah, you are not sharing the screen, I guess. So,
Oh, okay, for some reason it got stopped. Now can you see it?
yeah.
Okay. Okay, let me just again show you. So now the automation we are going to just test it is connecting to is EC2 instances and getting that instances information. Details of EC2 instances, whichever is running in your machine. Okay. So here, for that, what is that you should do to test this automation? First, you have to go to the AWS and go to the EC2 instances. You can see I terminated all my instances because I felt like, to avoid that billing and all that. Okay. But the confidence is we can create an instance anytime in any, just quickly, just like that. Okay. So what is that? Let's create one simple instance. Okay. So I'm just creating it as nomtech hyphen EC2 test. Okay. Let's create this and then choose this. And now you know all that, right? We did this number of times, and then you can choose free tier available this thing AMI image. So here, where is that? By default, six. I think it shows free tier. Now it's not showing free. I don't know why. What happened to this? Okay, that should be fine. So next, let's leave it as a. If it is, if it bill me, it's fine. I can pay for that. Not a problem. And then otherwise, I'll take 6.12 AMI, Amazon Mesh image, and then what we can do. So this anyhow we can keep that as is. That is a free. Always make sure you choose free type. That's important. For this testing, we don't need a key value page, but we have already created enough key value page. If you want, you can use that. Else, you can create a new one. It's up to us. And I have created. We have a video for that, like or a session done and recorded how to create key page. So you can go through that if needed. After that, another important edit here and then try to set up subnet. Okay, here choose anything of your choice, it's fine. But I'm choosing this one. Okay, 1A, AP South 1A, that should be okay. And then auto all these remaining things, you can just leave it as is and select an existing security group. Only thing you have to change security group and choose something which is already there. I think I deleted most of the security groups again. So recreating that and storage, you can leave it with 8 GB. You don't have a problem. It's not GB, GAB. There is a difference. You can check that in Google, okay, friends, or Chat GPT. And finally, I don't think that we have any necessity to add any new value. So we can just say launch instance. Now we have an instance created and launched. If you want, you can create a couple of more instances for testing. Of course, just creating instance doesn't cause any billing, friends. Okay, just keep that in mind. But if you are creating too many instances and then if you are running them, keep just running, then might cause a bit of, it will add certain level of building. Okay, so that is fine. But for testing, this is okay. Similarly, you can add how many other instances you want, some 2 or 3 instances, create, and then you can test the automation. And all these are pushed into GitHub now. Okay, so if you want me, I'll just show you that as well, where in that GitHub. Now, what is the simple thing? So to do this, any AWS automation, by now, this is familiar for all of you. You know, right? What is the library we should use for Python? We should use boto3 and connect to that boto3 using, connect it to EC2 instance using boto3. When you say that connect, it will automatically return certain this thing, that EC2 object. On top of EC2 object, you can say describe instances. That describe instances return a JSON output or JSON response. On top of that, you have to iterate it. You can see here. Suppose if you want to see that how that response would be, you can simply what you can do, you can clear this. You can print and see how that look like. Okay. So now you can do one thing also. Where is the console? I'll just show you how to play around multiple things. Sorry, friends. This is Python console. I don't need Python console. I just need terminal. Okay. Just for testing purpose, I'm opening terminal. I'll show you how I will work in real time while developing automations, how I test my application. I put a debugger here. Okay. We don't use PyCharm or Eclipse or any of this. Okay. We have our own IDE, which is more sophisticated like all this. Okay. So now right click and then debug this just to track all this. Of course, this is the easiest thing. Once you get, you say describe instances, EC2 dot describe instances, it fetch you all that instances information. Okay. Now you can see that it's creating that. Now you can go and just say next and then you can copy this response and go to the terminal. Where is that terminal? Sorry, this one. Okay. And then paste it here, enter. Oh, this is, but in our environment, I can just take this variable after debugging and come here. When I run it like this, when I just enter and I paste and press enter, it shows all that data inside response. Maybe I will explore more on that if we have such facility in PyCharm, because we use a bit of more sophisticated tools in our environment. So that should be okay. But for your this thing, you can see already that output, you can see response, that JSON, you can see that in the debugging output, you can see here. Debugger is already showing that result here. Just to have a glance of it, you can see there. Response colon reservations colon, all that you can see there. And then you can see all that what information, instance information, Amazon EC2, strict, all this stuff you can see here. And you should also find, okay. So this is about metadata, okay, of that describe EC2 instances. Again, on top of that, we can issue more you can ask for more details in this automation. So you are iterating on that response of reservations. You can see that. And from that reservations, you are fetching instances. We need instances, right? So this on top of this reservation, you are applying, you are fetching instances. And from that instances, you are fetching instance ID, instance status, state. Okay, all the details. So if you want, you can add more to that, okay, more to that testing, and then tags related to that instance, okay, and then default name if no tag found, just no name something. Okay, all this you can see here. If tags are found, you are iterating those tags here, okay, tag of key equals something, all that. and you are just assigning that tag name to this name tag. And we are printing what is that instance ID, what is the state of that, what is the name of it, and then this is okay. You can ignore this. This is for just only adding some beautiness. So if you run this now, of course, just to show you that how to debug and just observe what is the response coming from the AWS. If you want to check that, this is how you can debug your code. But for now, as you are familiar with all this, I don't want to make it as a AWS development, but let us make it as AWS. Okay, I mean kind of learning AWS this thing. Okay, so right click and then what shall I say? Run this now, so that you can see the output for this. Let's run it now. For now, it's just showing no EC2 instances are writing it are running at this moment. You can go and check. This should be running by now. Okay, refresh this. Okay, at least you should get this information. If not, all EC2 information, all EC2 instances information. So right click again. Let me rerun it and see if we fetch some information. Now I'm not getting anything. So why I'm not getting? Maybe let me do one thing. Let me take this and then connect it to that instance and see. Because we didn't connect, right? We are just created and running, only just troubleshooting it. That's all. Okay. Now we do have connected to that EC2 instance. Okay. So let us check on that. Okay. So that is connected now. We can see that there. Let me just keep this aside. So this is connected. Now let me rerun the automation again. So maybe otherwise we can fix this thing. So it's not giving any response. Means we are not seeing anything in the output. So okay, we can just troubleshoot it. Let's have AI assistance here because we can quickly ask AI. So this code is not returning EC2 instances. Step-by-step fix for not returning instance. Check your AWS region. Okay, where did I create that instance? Okay, I created in Asia Pacific. I should run it in Virginia. Okay, so that itself shows we are running in a different area. So that's why simple reason, right? Okay. So let's again test this. So region, I think we have to mention the region. We created in that instance in a different region, right, friends? What is that? Asia Pacific. You can see that. That is Mumbai, AP South 1. This is nothing but AP South 1, Mumbai. You can see. But I'm looking where? I'm looking somewhere in Virginia or something. So what we can do is let's fix that. And you have the now you can see there. I just got a different, I mean, a refined script. You can see you have a facility to set up your region in this automation. Now instead of now this time there is a possibility we can see the result or output. And this small changes shouldn't be a problem for you because even though you are expert or not, you know Python or not, small changes doesn't have big impact. Okay, these small changes you can easily to make that, and then you can test it. Okay, we choose AP South 1. That is where we created our instance. Okay, right click and run now again. Let's see the output. Perfect. See this. And you can see the name. This is what we created. Awesome, right? So this is about connecting to EC2 instances and getting all that information. And we can do so much on this kind of automations, but it's okay. I'm showing you how to play around that. So this is the simple idea. I think I just do a code walkthrough as well. What is happening at every level. Only thing, just put a debugger or just put a print after if you want to see what is the output coming at each level. Suppose you want to see what is there inside reservation. or if you want to check what is present inside instance, or if you want to see what is the state, what is the tags, just put a print after each line so that you can view that you can check that information regarding each variable or each statement. Got it right? What is the response that is coming from at each level of the automation? All of you are clear on this? Is this clear for you, friends?
Yes, yes.
Understood now? So do I make it clear? Okay. Rajesh, is this today? How is this? Any confusion?
No, no, no.
Okay, thanks. Thank you for the feedback. So this is a simple idea, friends. Okay. Again, now I know Harish has a question. Okay, Harish, this is there in this bucket. Okay. Let me just show you. Okay. You can go to that GitHub bucket and then you can just check under AWS Core Connect scripts and then you have EC2 list instances. I need to only do one thing. What is that? I just updated the script, right? So what I have to do, I have to go to the Git and then again commit. Let's ask for commit. And whatever the changes happened, you can see these were updated files. So it just listed only files which got modified, and then you can say commit and push. Let's do that in one shot. Okay, it's asking that PyCharm is asking that it will push this particular script. You know why I'm showing this kind of all this Git and playing around Git, all this stuff? Because tomorrow when you work in any kind of environment, these automations are important, even with Git and GitHub. Or instead of GitHub, you might have something called Bitbucket, or you might have something you can see this is updated one. Okay, you have this here, Harish. Okay, so next after this, so we are done with this uh, automation. And we are expecting we are able to see the output. Suppose if we have more instances, we can see the result of more instances from that particular region. Okay. So this is about this. Next, after this one, we are done with how to connect to EC2, how to fetch that EC2 instances information and details. Another automation is IAM. This is much more simpler one. You can see it's a small one. I just made it simple. Just don't want to scare you or okay, create any of these things. So this is how you can connect IAM. So you know, right? We created so much on IAM. Okay, we had so much. If that's what I'm saying, we had gone too deep into this AWS analysis, and of course, again, the credit is for the learners, not to me, because you came up with beautiful questions. We explored more into that. Okay, so this is the IAM window, and we played around with user groups, users, roles, policies. Now you know we can play around anything. We can create custom policies. We can create the users. We can create user groups. We did so much. So definitely, apart from those, we also played around certain things like what else, like load balancing. Okay, application load balancing, auto scaling. There are so many things we just learned out of using all this. So if you want to fetch this information, suppose I want users information, I cleaned up most of this stuff because you see that we just only hardly see only few users here. Okay, so that's what. So, but this is enough for us for testing over all this. Okay, automations. Two users are should be enough for us. Okay. So now let's go and run this automation. What is this? We are connecting to IAM with boto3 and then listing users. Similarly, if you want, you can list roles, you can list groups, you can list anything which you want. Okay. For that, again, these days, we know we have AI in place. Suppose if you want to list groups, you can ask that. If you want to list this thing. Okay, as we are running, I'll show you that also because how to play around with AI so that you understand that. Now you can see that inside this, yeah, I am this thing service. We have two users, Nomi one and Nomi user one. So that's it. Suppose I want to get roles information. How do I fetch it? Maybe I'll just try this without using AI. Okay, let me act as AI. Okay, and see if I am successful. Okay, what do you say, Harish?
Yeah.
Okay, I think this response I am dot list roles. Let us put it and then instead of users. First of all, let me put a debugger till this assess whether if it works or not. If that the easiest way is generally when you say I am dot should say I think okay because if it is regular libraries it can show us IntelliSense but we can work with let's add it and see let's list roles and then I'm just adding as response to just for testing. Maybe we can go to the AI. We can take assistance from AI again. I'm just showing you how to play around things. Okay. Trying to check with my bit of automation experience or developer experience. Here, what you can do is you can say roles and you can just choose. Okay. Just print user. That is enough. We can fetch this again. We can make it beautiful. If it is me, because I know how to fetch, iterate, and get uh, dig deep into that. Okay, drill down to the next level and fetch the details. I am familiar with that, but I've just let me just run it and see if this works. Okay, definitely I am not successful. So let's give up on my this thing and let's go to the AI assistance. Okay, let's ask AI. Okay, so I think I am hitting quota now. So just ask a simple prompt here. Create a simple prompt. How to get roles details from where? From IAM. Okay, simply just you can see there. I think we almost did it right, but list roles is fine, right? That's what we created. And then response of roles again. Or did I give anything wrong or what? Okay. I think we almost figured out for properly. IAM dot list roles we did it. Okay, and then while iterating. Okay, we just response of roles and we did it, but it's saying key error roles. Huh? Okay, let me take this response of roles. Even this should run into key error. If this is running into key error, it's not because my ROLES even typo is not there. Let me run it now. Okay, let us take this. Up to this, it should be okay. And then paste it here. I'm just simplifying it, not trying to make you feel too heavy. Just printing role. Let's right click and run this now. Okay, I got it. The reason is simple. Why we are not successful earlier is here it should be response to. You can see there, right? What did I assign here? I assigned roles to response to, not with response. Response is this one. So here only we have user details. We don't have roles information inside this response. So my mistake, what is that? My mistake is I should use response to instead of response. That is the mistake I did. Okay. So of course, let's correct it and run it now. This time definitely you can see the output. You can see that these are all the roles. Now I know how to iterate this each of these JSONs and then fetch my roles information. Okay. Somewhere we have roles role name. You can see AWS. This is a role name. 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 We can fetch all that. It's so simple. Okay. And with Chat GPT, we have this. We can just copy these details. Okay. So the easiest way of fetching, iterating over JSON, you can see that. So I'm removing this part because so okay, and then just bring it inside. That indentation is important. Of course, you don't need to worry about it. So right click and run this. Now this time you can get roles information too. Again, the error is, right? What is the
Same,
error?
the response to.
Response to.
Okay. Now you know everyone of you caught this error because why? Experience. We are doing the same mistake again and again. So that's why we can easily find the errors. Only thing, it's all about experience, friends. Most of you know that. Okay, it's not like I need to tell. So we are able to fetch roles. Likewise, you can play around. Now you got idea, right? So this automation give you an idea. So with this, you got a clear this thing, some kind of AI related automation mindset, right? So what is that? Now suppose I ask a question to you. So in this AWS window, where is that, buddy? Okay, here from this I want to fetch policies information. Then you don't need to wait for me, right? This time you can go to ChatGPT. Suppose you don't know Python or anything. The easiest thing is go to ChatGPT. Similarly, ask a question. Generate, okay, policies for a simple automation to fetch policies. It gives a code like this. Take it and then test it and see if it is generating expected output. You got it right. So this is how you can build automations by taking the assistance from AI these days. Okay. So hope I am empowering you not just on AWS. Okay. Also we are trying to understand the blending of AI into our learning as well. Okay. So that is the idea, friends. And there is nothing wrong because this learning is required in this era. We are in an era of AI, and this is much more needed. But only my suggestion is try to get some fundamentals on Python, okay, and a strong foundation on AI. Then you can do wonders in every area of these fields. Okay. So next after that, so shall I switch to the next automation? Now you can play around different types of requirements. Suppose if someone asks you to get groups information, okay, what is that you can do? You can just go and ask this thing here, user groups. What different user groups we have? You can see here we have created certain user groups. If you want, you can fetch these details and see that. Okay. So likewise, understood, friends. So that's all about this one, about IAM thing and how to play around IAM, how to take help of AI, okay, and how to generate code and test and everything, okay, how to make changes. Suppose if you don't find certain region, how to validate that. Anywhere, any issue, again, just refine your prompt and ask ChatGPT. It will give you that information. Okay, and don't have a fear that I don't know that language, this language, so I cannot do or this automation and that automation. Okay, confidence is the core thing. Remaining rest all things automatically will follow us. That's why. So next thing, listing out buckets. Already we did this because that versioning all that is about listing buckets. But I just created a simple code snippet so that you can just get a quick idea. Suppose you want to see what different buckets are present in AWS. Okay. Then how do you do that? You can see here now. Okay, connect it to the S3 and then apply this method. What is that? List buckets. That will list all buckets present in that AWS S3. And then you are just iterating those buckets by getting buckets exclusively only buckets details from that JSON. There might be so many tags inside that JSON, but we need to filter out on buckets. So we choose buckets here. Okay. And then from that bucket, we are choosing again bucket name. Okay. If you run this automation, you can see that we have so many buckets. Of course, you can see these are all the buckets. You can see that. And it is fetching all those buckets. Okay, this is a simple automation, not something really complex. But if you ask me, if you want to go and dig deep into that, drill down to the next level, we can also do that. My idea is by the time we finish this AWS, okay, of course, we are almost halfway through with AWS. I want you to learn multiple things which we can directly apply in your working environment, like creating dashboards, projecting your metrics, okay, and then different things. That is, there are so many things in my mind. We'll bring all that to life, okay, in our sessions. So now next one. So this next automation is list S3 objects. Objects means if you want to see, right, if you want to list all that file that is present in some bucket. We also did this with versioning and all that. You know very well about that, okay. So you can see here, you have to provide bucket name, connect to S3, and you have to say list objects this time. There is a slight difference between this. This is list buckets. If you want to list buckets, suppose if you want to list objects, you should say list objects here. And then that bucket name, you have to pass to this method. Automatically, it will fetch all those objects. Objects in sense, nothing but files, different types of files in the bucket. That files in bucket, we can call them as objects. That can be text files, CSV files, or any kind of Parquet files, Avro files. There can be any kind of data in S3. Okay. Now you can just iterate it. If contents in response, suppose if data is there in response, you iterate it and print it. Else, you can say that bucket don't have anything, it's empty. So that is what this code is doing. Okay, right click and run this. Now we have bucket, right? This 001 bucket is there, and then it has just one file, that is test.txt. Suppose if you have any doubt on that, you can go to that S3 here. Okay, and then check on that particular bucket. Just to validate if you are getting proper response from bucket. Okay, see here, the bucket is this. Where is that one? Version bucket 001. Okay, this one. It just have one file. That's what it is showing here. You can see here. Maybe it might have versions. I don't know. Yeah, it might have versions. That's okay, fine. But generally, while showing, it just shows that what file is there. And again, you know how to get versions as well, how to fetch all different versions present in that particular bucket. We had did a lot of big automation yesterday. So finally, I think for now, we can switch to the next topic. This is all about different automations, how to connect and how to play around things and all that. And again, these files are again pushed to the GitHub. You can find all that in that AWS Core Connect in this GitHub. It is a public access. You can directly view all these files and download them as well. Okay. So if you have any issues, just let me know. I'll just provide permission and all that. Not a big issue. Okay. So just play around them and see. Right. This is definitely helpful, friends. Next, after this, we are going to a new topic. What is that new topic here? It's nothing but maybe I can do one thing. Till this, yeah. Do you have a question, Revati?
Yeah, thank you for that. Yes, we are fetching